And Jesus told the people as he preached, "The kingdom of heaven is like unto a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while the men slept, his enemy came and he sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also." So as the wheat was up here now, so were the tares, the foxtails and other stuff that had grown among it. And the servants, verse 27, told the householder and said to him, "Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? Where did all these tares come from?" Verse 28, and he said to them, "An enemy has done this." The servant said unto him, "Well, wilt thou then that we go and gather up all the tares?" But the master said, "No, lest when you gather up tares, you will uproot the wheat with them." And here was the command of the lead farmer, the owner: "Let both grow together until the harvest. In the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn." And he went ahead and told another story. The kingdom of heaven is like a grain of mustard seed. In another one, the kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven. It's yeast, and it makes it rise. And so he went on to continue his sermon. And once he concluded his message, the people left. There were several occasions that the disciples needed to talk with Jesus. So you go down to verse 37. Jesus sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, "Please tell us about the parable of the tares and the wheat." And Jesus answered and said unto them, now this is Jesus, not the prophet. This is straight from the mouth of the Son of God. He said, "He that sows the good seed is the Son of Man." It's himself, it's Jesus. "And the field is the world. And the good seed are the children of the kingdom." See, so the kingdom of heaven, you and I are children of his kingdom. That's why one scholar once said, the kingdom of heaven begins here, but the kingdom in heaven, glory will be when he comes. So from the mouth of Jesus, the field is the world, and the good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sowed them is the devil, and the harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. See, now you go down to verse 43. "Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father." Now that's talking about the kingdom in heaven. He who has ears to hear, let him hear tonight, Jesus says. "And he who has eyes to see, let him see." Now, most of us have heard of this story of the wheat and the tares. But what's stunning to me in reviewing this passage, the one that shook the disciples, he told 6 other parables of the kingdom of heaven that same sermon, but this is the one that stuck with them. And I must be honest with you, it has stuck with me this week as well. I'm troubled because in the story, the enemy comes and sows tares among the wheat from the beginning. From fallow ground being turned over, when the plow turns it over, they drop good seed, and then suddenly the enemy that night comes and throws foxtail grass and other types of tares into where the wheat is going to sprout. And when it all sprouts together, it looks identical, except to a trained wheat farmer. My hat's off to those of you who have your fields. But the power of this story is that the workers tell the farmer, what's going on with the tares? An enemy has done this. Well, sir, as we're approaching the harvest here, if you want, we can pull the tares. You see, those of us who do still weed our gardens, right, or your lawn, when you pull that clump of grass, what happens? A clump of dirt comes with it also, and you usually have to tap it and get the dirt to fall back into the hole. If you pull a group of tares, all 4 of them, the other 35 spears that are there of wheat come with the clump. Whoever tries to pull tares will inadvertently pull wheat with it. That's why the farmer said, no, leave them together. They must stay together. And that's the shocking part of the story. We're going to wait until the harvest. So when they come with the sickle or the scythe and it begins to come off, now you can separate. These are the tares, and there are guys who are just going to bundle them up and tie them up. And these are the wheat to take to the barn so that we can separate the grain. That is a command from Jesus. So as the disciples come to him that night, what was the wheat and the tares? They didn't ask about any of the other parables. What did you mean by that? The field is the world. The farmer is the Son of Man, Jesus himself. The seed is life everlasting. It's good seed, and it's going to fall on good ground on our hearts. And the tares are the people who don't walk in righteousness. And the enemy is the devil that pushes those people forward. Now, the command of Jesus is that we have no business trying to pull the tares. Yet the bad habit in many congregations is people who actually think that God has called you to pull tares in direct violation of the command of Christ, who said they must be allowed to grow together. You see, someone you think is a tare may not be a tare. Maybe you're being the tare. Someone you think is wheat may not be wheat. Man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks upon the heart. You see, God did not call us to try to protect this church. The Lord knows how to protect his own church. He doesn't need our help. And as a minister for all of these decades, I have seen with these eyes the judgment of God against someone who has sinned greatly in the cause of a sanctuary of ministry. I have seen what happens when the Lord steps back and allows them to experience the consequence of their sins. God doesn't need you to protect the church. The church is not vulnerable because Jesus protects his own. Now, I know what you're thinking. Pastor, are you saying we're supposed to allow sin then in the church? No, by no means. We must love the sinner. That's the part we don't know how to do. Love the sinner.